Thursday edition of Game On. I'm your host, Katie B. Davis. Happy to have you here. Happy to be sitting in this chair in the WDUN studios at Jacobs Media on Thompson Bridge Road in Gainesville. Wherever you are listening, however you may be listening, thank you for doing so at 6 minutes after 7 on the night before another Friday. We love Fridays around here, especially considering high school football still going strong in North Georgia. Got a few state semifinal games tomorrow night in this area. North Gwinnett at McEachern, Callaway at Buford, and Gainesville going to Tucker to play. Coming up in about 30 minutes on Game On, we're going to welcome in Brent Holloway, writer for SB Nation, and a part of our panel on the high school football roundtable, and we're going to make our picks on tomorrow night's games from this area. Now, we're just going to do those three games, so don't be expecting a Class A game down in South Georgia, because I don't know anything about that, and that's not happening. But Brent and I will make our picks, as we have been doing each week this season during the high school football roundtable. But because so few teams still exist, we're doing it tonight on Game On in lieu of the high school football roundtable. So that coming up in about 30 minutes. First up, though, we got some great news. If you are a fan of high school football, if you're a fan of high school football in North Georgia, if you've been following it for a long time, great news came out today in that one DeShaun Watson, quarterback for Gainesville High School, has been named the Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Georgia. He joins the likes of Taylor Lamb, Kenyon Drake, Brian Randolph, Hudson Mason, Brandon Smith, Tavares King, Darius Walker, and a bevy of other athletes as the Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Georgia. This award selected by Gatorade High School Sports Leadership Team in partnership with USA Today High School Sports. And joining us from USA Today High School Sports is Chad Konecky. Chad, how are you doing this evening? And thanks so much for being with us.
I'm great, Katie. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, we want to start with this. Before we get into the specifics of DeShaun Watson and his selection, what is this painstaking process like to choose high school football athletes from each and every state in our country?
Wow, you framed that perfectly. It is painstaking, and it's, 29 years of the most holistic award in high school sports, in that not only do you have to bring it on the field at an elite level, but also you have to be a B student or better, and most of the winners are better, including DeShaun, and you have to be a consensus community role model and somebody who gives back to their own community and their own space. And it's awfully hard to win. It's awfully hard to separate the great candidates that we see every year, particularly in a state like Georgia, and we certainly got a good one this year in DeShaun.
I appreciate that this award, this honor, about more than just statistics. DeShaun Watson, 3.48 GPA. He's maintained through his time at Gainesville High School. He's also an intern for the Hall County Board of Commissioners and has helped raise awareness for victims of cancer and cerebral palsy. The former, his mother, a victim of or was stricken with in his tenure at Gainesville High School. Chad, tell us about DeShaun and what made him stand out, other than the things I just mentioned. What made him stand out among the best the state of Georgia has to offer?
Yeah, and certainly there are a number of great candidates every year in Georgia, and getting that separation and finding that gradient between those excellent candidates is really where the rubber meets the road in terms of what we do every day. But from an athletic perspective, I mean, certainly he's set himself apart, right? I mean, when you talk about where the quarterback position has gone in this game at this point in time, and you talk about when we look at quarterbacks and we place such a high value on sort of decision-making and accuracy. And here you have a quarterback who's completing almost 70% of his passes, and he's got a 10-to-1 touchdown-to-interception ratio. So sort of pinning the needle on decision-making and accuracy. And then, as you guys well know, an incredible threat to pull the ball down and run with it. So just so productive across the board athletically. And then a guy who's getting it done in the classroom, borderline A- average, and going to a great program and also giving back. So he's really the total package, and as you well know.
We're continuing our conversation with Chad Konecky of USA Today High School Sports. USA Today High School Sports, in conjunction with the Gatorade High School Sports Leadership Team, chooses the Gatorade Player of the Year from each state. And the state of Georgia's Gatorade Player of the Year this year, Gainesville High School's own DeShaun Watson. Chad, from the athletes picked from each state comes the Gatorade National Player of the Year. And this is a very prestigious honor. The likes of Wes Welker, Terrell Suggs, Mark Sanchez, Anquan Bolden, Jerome Bettis have won it. Is this a voting process, or is this something else that you all combine to pick?
Yeah, well, so that's a process that's very similar to the State Player of the Year selection in all 51 selections we do every year when you include the District of Columbia. It's a close collaboration with the leadership team at sports marketing at Gatorade in terms of evaluating how those 51 winners every year match up and sync up best with the criteria of the award. And, you know, what they're looking for, honestly, and I'm not just being a homer here because I'm on WDUN, is a guy like DeShaun in terms of, you know, to a person, the many people that we spoke with in Georgia on the ground about him, talk about his poise and his class, and that he practices the same way he plays, and that he's humble and he's a great leader, and, you know, the kind of feedback that we got about him in terms of who he is, in addition to how he plays, is really exactly the kind of conversations that go on when we're talking about taking that 51 winners every year down to one.
The prestigious Gatorade National Football Player of the Year will be announced this month. Chad, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you joining us and providing your insight on why DeShaun Watson was named the Gatorade Georgia Football Player of the Year. And I'm going to be Homer-esque when I say this. He is a quality young man, and thanks for choosing him. What a great honor for him. But more than that, what a great honor for his hometown. So we appreciate you choosing him. We appreciate you being on Game On this Thursday evening.
No, I can't thank you enough for having me on. I guess the only thing that didn't go his way so far this year is a coin toss, but he's got a chance to remedy that, right?
Hey, you're right, Chad, and we are definitely pulling for him at his home base in Gainesville. So thank you once again. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and your weekend.
Take care. Thanks a million.
Absolutely. DeShaun, a 6'3", 200-pound senior. You all know him well. He's led Gainesville to a 12-1 record entering the Class 5A state semifinals. They will play at Tucker this Friday night in a game you can hear on 1240 ESPN Radio and FM 102.9. And he's also an Under Armour All-American. And that game going to be coming up here in the next month or so. 3,517 yards, 46 touchdowns. And you heard it straight from Chad's mouth. He knows the athletes he chooses well. 69% passing. That's the average that he hit on this year, entering this coming game Friday night. First-team All-State selection, rushed for more than 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns on 124 carries through 13 games. And obviously he leads the state for career passing yards and touchdowns, marks he eclipsed during his junior season. When I look back at the winners of this award from the state of Georgia, there are a couple things that stand out to me. First of all is the fact that you recognize a lot of the names, even if their careers stopped after college. You recognize a lot of the names, even if their careers weren't as prolific in college as they were in high school. You recognize a lot of the names. But something else that stands out to me, there are very few of them from north of Atlanta. Gainesville's DeShaun Watson, the first from, unless we'd have to go back to 2004 when Darius Walker won it of Buford. Those are the only two from Hall County or the surrounding counties, our 10-county coverage area here at WDUN. Taylor Lamb played at Calhoun, Kenyon Drake, Powder Springs, Brian Randolph, Marietta, Hudson Mason, Marietta. Now, Brian played for Kell and Hudson played for Laster, but they were in the same area. Brandon Smith, Booker T. Washington out of Atlanta. Tavares King now was Habersham Central, so I am incorrect. We've got three from what we consider northeast Georgia. Now, there are a few of them from Gwinnett County. Come on now, Parkview. Out of Lilburn. They've got a couple from Parkview. We've got one from Athens, and Scott Freeney played at Clark Central. But do you all understand what I'm saying? There's been this surge in Northeast Georgia, extreme Northeast Georgia. So we're talking about northeast of Gwinnett County. And Buford straddles the line. Buford's a little Gwinnett, it's a little Hull. And we're seeing that reflected in these awards. Tavares won it in 2008. DeShaun in 2014. And congratulations to him. He is up for the National Gatorade Player of the Year award, and that will be announced later this month. But congratulations to him. Definitely well-deserved. When we come back, folks, we're going to move from the high school gridiron to the professional diamond, and then we're going to move backwards to the college gridiron. Got some big news out of Tallahassee today. I'm sure you all are aware of it, but we're going to discuss it slightly. Even bigger news, sad news for Braves fans, as we saw the first glimpses of Brian McCann in the pinstripes. What did he say about being a New York Yankee? We'll bring it your way just ahead. This is Game On. I'm Katie B.